How to create a need for a product. If you have a product and you're struggling to find buyers and you're struggling to get people interested in it, I am not about to teach you to go link barf and try to tell everyone to add more value. I'm actually going to teach you in this video how I get people asking for my product before it's actually done. Let's dive in. All right, the first step in how to create a need for a product is actually to include the future buyers in the idea of the product. I made the big mistake when I was first starting out that I would think that the idea was the value. Don't tell anyone my idea. If I tell someone my idea, they're gonna take it, they're gonna steal it, I'm gonna be out of business. That's garbage. Ideas are worthless. They mean absolutely nothing, okay? No one will buy your idea. They will buy a product that comes from an idea. So the answer to this is to actually go around and start sharing the idea. Again, when I first started, I remember one of my first product launches I ever got out there was I spent 8 months building this information product. 8 months. I was in college, I was in the army, kids, whole 9 yards, okay? And I was 2 to 3 hours a night from about 11 p.m. to about 2 a.m. For 8 months, I would work on my own product. After 8 months, I decided to go launch the product and put it out there. As I went and I tossed it out there, I hadn't told anybody about it. And it was this complete ridiculous failure, all right? Nobody bought it. And it was very painful for me because I realized that I hadn't told anyone, thinking that the idea was the value for the marketplace. Do not fall into that trap, okay? Step one on how to create a need for a product, you have to actually talk about it, okay? It's not enough for you to be in love with this thing, go into like the dark dungeon caves, turn back around, and then say, my thing's ready, and no one was the wiser. Do you imagine if Hollywood told you the first time that their movie is available, the very same day that they let it be available in theaters? Does that make sense? If I was to go out and tell you, hey, my movie's out, right? They don't do that. What do? They turn back around and they say, a year out, coming this summer, right? And then they say, hey, here's the name of the movie. And then 6 months later, there's another preview, right? Then a few months later, there's like, all these actors go on tour, right? They go to tonight shows and like, what was it like being on that show? Let's watch the scenes from it. Did you like that? Check it out this weekend, right? And they create this attention, this noise. That's the same way that we create a need for a product on the internet. All right, the second part in how to create a need for a product was actually an equally as painful experience for me. At the time, my ex-wife and I were having our first kid, and I was in the middle of my entrepreneurship classes in college, and I had done market research as college was teaching it, which means I was walking around saying, oh, what's a good idea, right? That's pretty much the extent of the market research we would do. Or we'd go do some focus groups and we'd incentivize people to come if they, hey, you get pizza, but they don't really give good data either. Anyway, so I had this great idea, I thought. We were literally in the hospital waiting for this first beautiful little child to come. And nothing was happening. Don't judge me, but don't do what I did either, right? We were in there for like 12 hours and nothing was going on. We were like 3 or 4 hours in, we're just kind of sitting there like, well, kiddo's not coming. I started texting one of the gurus back in that time. And I said, hey man, I got this great idea, this incredible product idea. Here it is. Do you think I should go make it? And I got a text back, I don't know. I was like, okay, okay, here we go. Hey, I got this great product idea. Here it is. Boom, 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 boom. Do you think I should go make it? And he goes, I don't know. And it actually made me mad. And I was like, dude, you said I could text you if I have a question. Here's my question. Here's my idea. Should I go make it? And he goes, I don't know, kind of in all caps. And he goes, I don't know. I let people vote with their wallets, not their mouths. All right, the second step, it changed everything for me because I realized that I was walking around asking people, do you think this is a good idea? And if you're watching this video right now, you've probably done the same thing. Welcome to brand new entrepreneurship, right? If you're brand new at entrepreneurship, we've all done that. But the reality is that asking people what they think without also asking them to buy is a very dangerous ground to be on. And so what we need to go do is learn to create demand for a product by first going out and selling it. So compared to what I was doing last time, right? I told you I spent 8 months building a product, then no one bought it because I hadn't talked about it. I decided to switch it. And what I did, one of my next major big product launches, I went and I wrote a sales letter first. And I actually started selling while I hadn't even created the product yet. Now I told them that, all right? Don't bait and switch or be don't be a dirtbag, all right? But I tell people like, hey, I've got this thing, I'm selling it. And then people are like, oh my gosh, I want that. And I'm like, sweet. Well, how bad do you want it? And they would pay me and I would tell them, hey, as they're paying me, I say, just so you know, parts of this are not created yet, okay? This and this is, but these other main pieces, they're not ready yet. And I would literally create the product 1 week in front of their consumption of it. That was the coolest way for me to create demand for a product. First, create a sales letter, and if people start buying, then go build the product. Hey, before I go into this last and final piece on how to create demand for a product, hit the like and subscribe button if you want me to tell you you're beautiful. All right, leave a comment below and I'll blow a kiss as well. All right, I want to give you guys one of the final and biggest tricks to creating a need for a product. So first I've said, make sure that you, including the future buyers in the idea. Ideas are worthless. You got to go talk about them. Second of all, try to sell the thing. Sell it before, as much as you can before you create it, okay? Yes, your industry can do that too, all right? I can already hear you saying, but I can't do it in my situation. Bull crap, all right? Number 3, okay, this is one of the biggest tricks. There's a really good book called Play Bigger, and it teaches that you think about what's going on in your marketplace. There are people all over saying, here's my solution, buy, and the marketplace is really, really loud. So we don't lead with solutions. We actually lead with problems. One of the best things you could ever do to create a need for a product is realize that the need is already there. You don't have to create need. You have to solve the existing problem. How do you create a need? You don't actually have to make it. You just go back to the problems. So while I just said, don't lead with the solution, we lead with the problem. Think about this. If I walk around, and I know you're watching a YouTube video called How to Create a Need for a Product, you're right here watching this video. I didn't create that need. You're trying to figure out how to sell your thing. I didn't have to build it. I just stood in front of it, okay? Lead with problems, not with solutions. And so what this will do for you is it makes you separate yourself from the rest of the pack, the rest of the sellers in your marketplace. I'll tell you a few tricks that I use to do this. Number 1, you gotta understand the person you're trying to sell very well. So go get to know them. What are the things that they are struggling with? What is it that you understand that you're trying to find what problems they already have. A lot of old school copywriting courses of yesteryear, pre-internet days used to teach, hey, before you sell someone, teach them about their problem. Teach them about their problem, not about your solution. They don't care about you yet, right? They don't care about your product until they understand that you know about their problem. Is this making sense to you? So a few tricks on how I do this again. I like to go around and I have what's called a problems whiteboard. I've got a couple of them. I have one problems whiteboard that is just about my dream customer. What are the problems that my dream client is having? And it's just a big list of issues. All right? And I'm not trying to solve all of them. I'm trying to figure out if I should solve them. And when I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go solve one of these problems that I see my customer has, the need's already there. If you have to create need for a product, it means you built a product that wasn't built on a need. Did you hear what I just said? Okay. If you have to create a need after your product is over, it means you are trying to create a problem for somebody. The problem wasn't naturally there. That's the wrong order. We never build a product without first knowing what problem we're trying to solve. Does that make sense? Because the need is natural. The need comes very naturally second of all. So, Steve, how do I go do this? All right, before you build a product, before you actually go into the crazy, time-intensive, mentally jogging experience of building a product, because it is, you're here, it's a hard thing to go do and put together. I strongly recommend that you write down all the problems that your dream customer is experiencing and then choose one of them. And when your product is done, you spend your time talking about the problem. When did the problem start? Why does that problem start for your customer? Right? How does your thing solve that? And that comes a very natural sales message. So there it is. How to create a need for a product. Number 1, don't keep your ideas to yourself. Number 2, make sure that you start trying to sell before you create. But then number 3, how do you do that? What you're really doing is you're making sure that you know what problem you solve before you ever think you're this brilliant entrepreneur genius and go and spend all this time creating a thing, because it may not be the case. Okay, you have to turn back around and know what problem am I solving for people, because that creates natural desire for the thing that you build. I got a free gift for you. If you are liking this video and you're like, I need more of these strategies, go to internetlaunchsecrets.com. We got a free presentation there for you that will teach you some of the formulas that are proven that makes a lot of money on the internet. Go to internetlaunchsecrets.com. The link is in the description.